Yo, it's Nintenja, your friendly neighborhood ninja, and today we're talking about the Retroid Pocket 5 and the Retroid Pocket Mini that's coming out. So what we've got right now is we've got a Snapdragon 865 being announced on it. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, to put it in the right terms, we're on Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 right now. That's the most powerful chipset. That's in the newest Samsung and flagship phone models. This processor right here, the 865, was originally from 2019. It's about 4.5, 5 years ago. It's multiple processors away. Now, it's about as powerful, maybe just a little bit more powerful because it can run more because of the fact it's better optimized. Snapdragon has better optimization within the emulators and stuff like that for Android. It's better suited for Android, but it'll run like the Dimensity 1100 in the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, but it's going to run better, smoother, more energy conservation, this type of thing. Now, what we've got right now is Snapdragon 865. Okay, what we've got in the Snapdragon 865 basically is you've got an S20 Ultra worth of power, right? So originally the S20, think about this, was released, a long time ago, basically 4 years ago, and then the S21, S22, S23, we're on S24. So yes, while it's going to run better than the Retro Pocket 4 Pro, we're not talking about the most powerful chipset ever. Now, you've got the 865, the 865 Plus, the 888, the 8 Gen 1, the 8 Gen 2, and now the 8 Gen 3 that's in the S24 Ultra and Fold 6 and Flip 6, the newest Samsung and flagship phones. Those are very powerful. You're talking about switch emulation. You're talking about, you can run that if the emulators are optimized right and all that stuff. Run GameCube at like 5x or something. I don't know, just all this power, right? Myself personally, I've got a Fold 3 with the Snapdragon 888. I've got an S20 Ultra with a Snapdragon 865. So I've already got something equivalent to this. If I threw that inside the game, sir, for instance, boom, I'd be rolling. I'd be rolling. If I threw that in a little handheld, I basically have this. And then we've got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. I've got that in a Flip 4. So that's already out there. You can get those phones, man. You can get S20 Ultra with this power for like $200-ish, and you can actually use it as a phone. You can get the Flip 4 for like, I don't know. It doesn't matter, like a couple $100, but point is that this thing's gonna be pocketable. It's gonna look pretty and all that stuff. We know that, we get it. So here's the Retroid Pocket 5, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit what I think. Oh, why am I stuttering? I'm gonna tell you a little bit what I think about it right now. It is pretty sweet looking little console coming out. Here's the 4 right here. As you can see, it's got a nice kind of a retro design, right? And now they're jumping into like the Neo space. And it's not that much bigger, but honestly, it's a little bit bigger. I think the Retroid Pocket 4, you can play some GameCube and PS2, most of it. I think it was on the verge of not really being pocketable. Honestly, it's a little too big to pocket. It's got that 4.75-inch screen. Now we've got the 5.5-inch screen, the AMOLED display. You might like those things, but honestly, those things have been on smartphones for a while. I'm not overly impressed now. I can't say too much. I own like 7 retro handhelds. I own the ARC-D from Ambernet. I own the 35XS SP clamshelled Game Boy Advance SP style, the Miu Mini, the Miu Mini Plus, the Miu Mini A30. I own some handhelds. Most of them underpowered, but they're pocketable, right? They're small as hell, except for the ARC-D. But those are pocketable. One thing that's interesting about what's happening with this is that they're giving us 2 options, right? So when you look at like the Odin 2 Pro, right? The Odin 2 Pro is like OP as hell. You've got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. You've got basically, it's still pretty much, you can call it flagship pretty much. It's right there. It's like this S23 Ultra from Samsung. It's right there. It's still like a $600-700 phone, right? It's pretty powerful. I think that this now, it's interesting. I'm trying to put my point across here, so bear with me. You're gonna have a 5.5-inch, probably going for like $250, right, on the Retroid Pocket 2 with a Snapdragon 865. You're gonna have to jump from 865 to 865 Plus to 888 to Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 to Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, all the way to get to Odin's power, and you can get this thing for $300 right now. In this base model with, the 8 gigs of RAM, all that, with the 8,000 milliamp battery, lots of battery time, but OP, right? And it's a little larger. It's gonna be a little larger than this handheld. It's more like closer to Steam Deck territory, but you got that 6-inch screen. You got that amazing battery. You got all that power. I think that Retroid is kind of trying to kind of position themselves to where ultimately, I mean, you don't have a choice. Like, I think, and I'm looking at this right now. You've got all these ambient devices that are kind of underpowered, right? They're smaller, but they're underpowered. You've got like the 40XXV just came out. It's like a vertical handheld. You've got the 40XXH, which is a smaller horizontal handheld with a 4-inch screen. They're like, okay, we're going to up the screen size and the power above the basic stuff, but we're going to make it cheaper than the Odin too, to try to entice you. It's got enough power to play everything that's worthwhile playing. The GameCube, 3DS, Switch, Wii. I mean, Wii, and then PS2. Switch isn't really worthwhile playing on Android per se yet because the emulation needs a little bit more work, I would say. But everything that plays good, and I'd say it's probably going to play it pretty close to, 100% compatibility with the GameCube and PS2. You're not going to have like 18 times upscale, but you wouldn't need it anyways with the screen only being 1080p. Or, the resolution that they're choosing is a little higher than that, but you get the idea. So basically, I think that basically the Odin 2 is still a great deal, but I'm really kind of feeling like now, looking at all of this, if you're going to get the Retroid Pocket 5, and it should be good enough, then maybe it's the time to jump into the Retroid Pocket, the Odin 2 Mini. You've got a PS Vita style handheld with an amazingly, screen. It doesn't have the AMOLED, but it does have that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and it's going to be similar size, or actually a little bit smaller than that Retroid Pocket 5 Pro. Plus, it's going to have a 5-inch screen instead of 5.5. I think that Retroid is playing it smart, though. They're kind of jumping in, like, they could have released a 5-inch screen. Nah. 5-inch screen would put them competing with the Mini, right? Odin 2 Mini. So screw that. We'll put a 5.5-inch screen. Now, we could have put a 6-inch screen, but then the device would have been bigger. Then you're trying to compete with the Odin 2 Pro. And at that point, what do you get? Or the Odin 2. And then at that point, you have to compete with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So I think they've positioned themselves into a very interesting area where they've got a 5.5-inch, it's a big screen, device that's not necessarily huge. It's in that mid-range size. Still slightly pocketable, easy to transport. And you're going to get something that kind of competes with the Mini in a way. But they're going to up the Mini. They're going to give you an AMOLED screen, and they're going to give you a 5.5-inch battery. Try to offset that cheaper processor thing they're putting in the 865. I do like what they're doing. Honestly, I'm more impressed with the Mini that's coming out, the Odin 2 Mini. I mean, the Retroid Pocket Mini. Because you've got that 865 in a very, very pocketable form factor. A much smaller form factor. Now, I don't know if the ergonomics are going to affect that. I don't know if they're going to affect that ultimately to where it's not going to be pocketable anymore, like the Retroid Pocket 2S. But we're going to see. I mean, this is what it's looking like. Honestly, and I'm looking at the colors, I'm like, crap, they really dropped the ball on this thing. I mean, they seriously, look at these stupid colors. Look all the way left. That looks like some crappy Chinese knockoff handheld. The next one over, okay, it's reasonable. The next one over, I don't know what's going on with this orange thing right here. I mean, that's kind of terrible. Look at this sad looking. The color schemes are just screwed. The only thing I'm seeing that's decent out of this whole lot here, the Mini, is probably this one. I mean, honestly, because it just looks like a Super NES controller, like a Super Famicom controller. And then this one kind of looks like some, I don't know, Famicom controller, basically. So, I mean, these kind of suck. They should have chosen like these are trash. These colors are horrible. Now, the Retroid Pocket 5 has got an amazing color one. I'm really tempted to this one, but the price has got to be right. If they're going $250 and up, I think Odin is the way to go. Or the Odin Mini. Pay the extra $70, $80 to get the Odin Mini. Get all that power, plus that amazing looking PS Vita design. Plus that bright screen, 1200 nits or whatever. That Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And it's just beautiful. Like, I'm tempted to get the Odin 2 Mini right now. But I'm debating over the Odin 2 normal thing. Or there's going to be Odin 3. I'm debating on that. But I've got the ROG Ally, which can play all this anyways. So I've already got that 7-inch 120 hertz screen, but it's huge. I do want something that's pocketable, that's powerful as can be, or, somewhat pocketable. But anyways, look at this thing right here. Retroid Pocket 5 is very interesting. Yeah, so here it is. I want to see the colors, though. Let's see the colors. Retroid Pocket 5 colors. So there's this one color that I think you've got to look at. I mean, that thing is gorgeous. This is right here. I mean, come on, man. That is a straight up GameCube controller. The yellow stick, the A and B button being that color. I mean, this is a straight up portable GameCube. If this thing goes for $200, it's gonna be hard pressed not to grab this one. If it goes for $250 and up, I don't know. Retroids never have sales. I mean, they only seem to sell on the website, so they always seem to be like that price. There's like no coupons, so like they're gonna control the pricing. But like this thing is gorgeous. Honestly, the black is cool. You pretty much consider that like a PS2, right? You got like a PS2 there, which is neat. You know, you got like portable PS2 there, and I kind of then look the white. The white kind of makes it like a little apple device. And then you've got the Super NES. They did much better with these colors. Honestly, these are like the four essentials in my mind. Are you going to take it into like, you want to play like a bunch of Android gaming, be like a modern gamer, like an Apple person? You want to be a retro gamer with Super NES? Do you want to be a GameCuber or a PS2? But like that GameCube is killer. Like that is the ultimate GameCube handheld. And like, I was just waiting for that to happen. So you really got them positioning themselves where like, with the Retroid Pocket Mini being about the size of the Retroid Pocket 2S, right, which is a pocketable device, but up in that power to 865, which is tremendously more powerful than the Retroid Pocket 2S. If that thing goes in the 150 range, I mean, I really feel like that's going to be what I'm going to go with. Even with that 3.75-inch screen, we don't have anything that powerful in that form factor. Like, nothing. There's basically nothing in existence, except for that one thing that released that little cube thing that I'm not interested in. But I mean, you're talking about like pretty legit. I mean, let's see if they're posting about it on the site. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, and they've got these little shells coming out with it and whatever. They always have like cool add-ons on their site. But yeah, look at that Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. I thought about getting one for a while. I just never got one. Never pulled the trigger. But that Mini is gonna be a game changer, I think. I know it's cool that this Retroid Pocket 5 is coming out, but I don't think it changes the world. I mean, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro could already play like GameCube and PS2, and you can get it sometimes, you know, for a good price. It already did that in a smaller form factor with a 4.7-inch screen. AMOLED and 5.5 is cool and all that stuff, but the Odin 2 Mini can kind of do all that, right? I think the 3.75-inch Retroid Pocket Mini is going to blow doors down. I mean, you're going to be able to pull out this device that's going to be small as hell that can play GameCube, PS2. It's going to get weird. It's going to be weird. You're going to be able to upscale all your little games, like your Super NES games. You're going to be able to add like, you know, like scale effects, filters, and crap like that. Run MSU1 audio, all that stuff. It's going to be awesome. I might have to get that Mini, even though I have so many mini handhelds already, which sucks. I don't want to make them all obsolete, but I mean, sheesh, I'm going to have like a N64, like, massively upscaled in my pocket, PS1 like massively upscaled in my pocket with DuckStation, Dreamcast game. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy to have that much power in that little handheld to pull out. I mean, that's about on the level of pulling out like a phone and sticking it in your little thing. You know, you have a phone on you at all times. All you need is a little controller, and you pull it out and you play, and you have all that power. But I mean, it's gonna be there. So tell me in the comments, are you excited about all this? I mean, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think about this Retroid Pocket? I mean, this Retroid 5. But what do you think about the 865? I mean, I think honestly they should have went with the 888. That's my opinion, man. 888 can't cost that much. And that would have been like, so I've got the 888. Like I said, I've played the 865. I've got the 888. That 888 has like full 3DS compatibility. Has like full GameCube and PS2 compatibility. There's like no doubt at that point. By the time you get the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, you've got like full compatibility in it. No issues, no slowdowns, nothing. And I think the 865 is kind of still on the cusp of like the 845 was just able to play GameCube. The 855 kind of like pushed it a little further, right? It was like, yes, okay, now we're playing it a little smoother. We're playing 3DS for the first time, kind of around there. But that 865 is just a step up from there. So I mean, yes, you will have the compatibility, but like, I think they could have just taken it another step, honestly. And if they go for 250 and up, I think I'm out. I think I'm out on the Retroid Pocket 5. I don't see how I do it. I think it would have to be like I think it would have to be an Odin 2 Mini or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I've got the GameSir. I've got the GameSir G2. I'm sorry. I've got the GameSir G8, and then that thing expands out to where I can stick it around my Fold My flip, my tab, I'm up super late. My tab S8 Plus 12.4 inch Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, blah, blah. So I've got like this massive display, handheld. The springs are getting stretched out though. I don't like that when I open up. Like I can see one of the springs is kind of like, ooh, teetering. The springs do not like getting stretched out to 12.4 inches, that's for sure. But with the Fold, I mean, it's an amazing little handheld with Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Fold 3. You can grab one of those for like $600 though. Not worth it. I'm probably going to sell mine, honestly, and grab like I don't know, something else. I'm probably going to sell it and grab an Odin 2 or something. I don't know, something powerful. I'm really thinking about the Neo Flip DS, which is a pretty beast, but I don't want to get into another topic here. But the point is, yeah, I don't have a Retroid Pocket right now. I've thought about getting one if I got every other handheld in the world, and I've done enough research on them. I know what they can do. But yeah, this is what is kind of interesting me a lot. These things, like, yep, that's coming home probably. And I have a 3DS and a 2DS XL and a 3DS XL. But I mean, this thing is like, Jesus Christ. Like, think about it. You can play like all your PC games. You can play all your emulation. You got both screens for Wii U, both screens for 3DS, both screens for DS. It just makes it like the most versatile thing. Full Windows, same power as the ROG Ally pretty much. And then you've got the 7-inch 120 hertz screen, like, and then it hooks up to Oculink, so you can do like a GPU. But I'll be talking more about that. I know a lot of nerd stuff, so we'll be talking more about that, game development, ROM hacking, everything. Sub to the channel, tell your friends that there's a new player in town and the handheld gaming reviews and tech review stuff, and it's me. I'll be putting a lot of stuff on here, trust me. I got a lot of stuff to put. I'm a big nerd. And a former ninja. I could tell you a little bit about that. That's something I was gonna keep quiet about. Can't show my face. Anyways, you guys should subscribe. We'll talk to you later. You can come check us out on Retro Gamers Haven, which is part of the ROM Hacking X right now. We're trying to figure all that out. Community, there's a link to the Discord. Come join us, talk stuff about games. We all love games. Like 700 Discord members now. So we've been growing pretty good. I'm a moderator there. And play the games you love and do what you love in life. Don't let anybody tell you what to do and tell you what's good. Find out for yourself. Thanks for watching. I'll put out more videos. Have a good day.